I'm back with AirPods this time. So welcome if you're tuning in live. We're going to give everyone just a couple of minutes to see if anyone else is going to join us. I'm here. You can hear my kids in the backyard. See how that's going. I don't want you to think that relationship has to be at the expense of parenting or desire or sexuality or passion, that somehow that minimizes with the experience of birth or growing babies, of changing needs and dynamics. I don't think it makes you less. I think it opens up an enormous doorway spiritually, physically, emotionally, feeling state-wise to more. Well, I don't know how that's going. I don't know if you can hear my kids, but I can. My 2-year-old and my 6-year-old. So I'm just going to listen about whether she is handling that or needs some help. I think Dad's helping. All right, we're okay. Hey Mel. Hey Carly. How you going? All right, we're good. So we can just start, which is delicious. Thank you for being here. It's really lovely to just make the time and the space to have these conversations. I think that's the whole point of a container, isn't it? Is that we have a really beautiful moment to check in with ourselves, with our body, with how we're feeling, with all of the questions and conversations and practices that otherwise would just fall by the wayside. I think that's the whole point, isn't it? Have places and spaces just like this. So, as you know, I always lip balm at the start of every time I've got to speak. And that's how it rolls. If you've got a tricky conversation to have, put on some lip balm. Makes the smoothness exit your lips a little bit better. So today we are talking about you have attracted the perfect partner for you. But that doesn't mean that life as you know it, your relationship as it currently exists in dynamic, is set in stone. They're two completely separate things. So that's the conversation I just want to lightly brush over, because this is all the pre-work for Queen School. This is all the foundational understandings or underpinnings that we then move more deeply into. So this won't be a deep dive into this. This will be a summary of the points, so that when I mention it in Queen School, everyone who's in Queen School with me goes, I remember that. I have a touch point on what that means, so that I don't have to spend our time in that learning container going through the basics. We get to just do the work. So that's the point of being here. So please jump in and join me for Queen School. We start on Monday. It's 10 weeks of just completely transforming relationship and how you feel in this energy and body, and stepping into your own queenship so that you can evoke the king and the men that you have around you. If this is where you stay with learnings, then I really hope this is a beautiful place for you to open up. So I'm going to begin with one of my most favourite quotes by Rumi. Rumi is the Sufi poet. If you are irritated by every rub, how will your mirror be polished? And I reflect on that continuously through relationship, through parenting, through spiritual growth, right? Like all of the things. I think it's such a poignant, beautiful, poetic statement. But what that's talking about is really seeing life as working or conspiring towards your greatest development and growth, and that every single rub is there to polish your mirror. It's not trying to break it. And that's certainly the way that I look at relationship. That's the way that I enter it, is every rub is purposeful. Every rub, if I so choose to enter it as such, which is always going to make or break that experience as being expansive or contracting, opening or closing, is based on whether I can sit into that space of, this is another opportunity for my mirror to be polished, for me to become a better lover, so that I can be loved better. We can't stand here demanding like a 2-year-old that you love me better and you love me the way I deserve and I should and you should and blah, blah. If you stay stuck in the I, me, I want, I need, I'm da-da-da, that is exactly who you're attracting. So you will attract exactly the person, remember the seesaw from yesterday's conversation, you will attract exactly the person who is emotionally and developmentally at exactly the same point as you. And in every single moment, we are evoking a response in the person in front of us based on our depth of love and consciousness. So if I show up to my toddler and I go, but I want that, and I don't want to do this with you, and how well do you think that's going to go? That toddler is going to mirror that and be like, but I want it, and that's mine, right? Because I'm meing, they're meing. We're always mirrors, trying to offer an opportunity to polish a little bit deeper. If I show up to my husband without the energetic movement of my love and light energy through my body that's moving and evoking a deeper response from him, because I'm sitting more deeply in, first off, triggers and responses, needs and desires that happen in my body are mine. And then I learn the art of communicating, coming from the point that I know there's nothing your little heart desires more than to give me exactly what I want, how I want it. But how I communicate that, how open or closed my body and my energy is, how accessible my energy is to him in those moments, absolutely dictates the outcome. So if I'm upset or irritated or not happy with the response that I've got from him or lack of, I have to check back in with how I've approached that. Have I actually done all of the tools and sat in the place of energy and openness and deeper love and consciousness where I've moved more deeply into my body? Or have I stopped at a protective, hardened container of fear? And it's that fear of rejection, of past needs not being met, of all of the things we talked about even in yesterday. And I stop there and I believe my fear more than my truth, that I am love and it's infinitely available to me in this moment and that he desires that, as opposed to he's going to disappoint me. This is the only possibility or outcome or eventuality. I have all of this stacked previous experience that proves my point of view right, so the world is as I see it and you are as I see it. I, me. I've stopped at fear. I haven't remotely surrendered open. I haven't remotely stepped into the center of my heart or the center of my body. I haven't offered him a place to feel that. So he will only energetically be able to penetrate me in a conversation to meet my deepest heart or my deepest core or my deepest desires and needs to the point that I've let him in. So if I have this huge wall here that says do not trespass, because I have learnt as a child the stories I was born into about men and women and taking and hurting and all of the years of defense mechanisms and trusting my own masculine more than any of the men that I have around me, and the fear of rejection and the fear of pain and the fear and all of this thickness that builds up. If I in this moment choose to keep that intact so that I somehow construct this sense of being safe, then that's what he hits. That's what he can feel. It's the deepest part of me that he can feel in this moment. And that is who I am revoking. If I learn the art of opening my body and moving my energy and surrendering open and trusting his deepest, purest masculine more than my own in this moment, all of the fears that have blocked my feminine light and truth. If I have a capacity to see relationship as I'm talking about it here, which is always orchestrating towards my deepest growth, and my deepest growth and most fulfilled life is when I am fully experiencing the depth of love and light that I am, not when I am pale, fragmented, half versions of pieces of me because of all of this thickness that keeps it blocked and tight and unflowing, and no one can feel it. And so I'm not evoking the people around me who give me what I most deeply want, because I can't even offer that or show it or even let myself feel it, right? You have attracted the perfect partner for you. You have attracted the partner who highlights every piece of you that's asking to be healed, to grow, to move, to change for your greatest growth, for your greatest fulfillment and opening, should you so choose to take the willingness of that path. You have attracted the perfect partner to learn and unlearn all of the lessons that open you up to the huge light soul that you are. He's not in the way, he's on the way to all of that, and so are you. So the funny thing is, actually at the end of the day, the only person who can tolerate the whole of you is you. That's who you've attracted, right? And as deep as I take my love, my energy and my openness will be as deep or as shallow as I receive his consciousness, presence, offering of what it is that I most desire back. I'm hoping that makes sense. I can't see comments again, so I'm going to jump across to Facebook on my laptop and see if there's any in here. Let's see, Facebook. Can I see my own live? Yes, I can. All right, and comments. Oh, Carly. Sounds like your house is with the kids. We get to dive on in. So excited to do it all over again and go deeper with this work. Yeah, me too. I was going to say the craziest, but it's not. It's the most beautiful experience, isn't it? When you actually just see you get to go deeper and deeper. And each time you re-listen, you're at a different level. So you take a different opening and approach, and it actually just moves deeper and more expansive, and it's beautiful. So that's fine. I can see comments there. So yeah, now you can make them. Back to my notes. So you've attracted you in relationship. It's only you who can tolerate you. And he's every part of you that's in shadow. So often what happens is we cast out because we've already boxed away all these pieces of us, and we go, you are, and I'm not. And all of the things that most irritate us are all of the things that highlight where we are completely unconscious of those traits within ourselves. And that's what we can see, because that's the universe's language of going, this, bring this in, make this whole within yourself, because when you change, who and what you see in the world changes, right? And you know this. Think about how you've seen and grown over the years, how what you saw back when you were 15 is completely different to what you see in the world now. It's just growth, you know. I could ask you to look around the room and count for me all of the pink things that you can see, you know. Now tell me all the green things. You didn't see them because you weren't looking for them. That's the way it works. He will rise to what you see. You will be responsive to what you see. Sometimes we need a different lens to that which we have embodied and grown up and absorbed. It's the point of finding teachers who offer you that, so you can move and grow beyond where your life has gotten you. So here's another point that I want to make to you. I am all about loving our wholeness, and loving the wholeness of our children, and loving the wholeness of the universe. Not this bullshit, hippie, bloody love, peace and light is all that we are. No. Whole, yin and yang, black and white. They both hold the spectrum of the rainbow. To be spiritual might be to find your happiness, you know. But to be skilled is to do the yoga, to move with life and pain and challenge and be responsive to it and grow your practice as the world grows and you intertwine with it. Not just happy. So that's what we're doing here. That's what we do in Queen School. We are literally learning the yoga of our heart and our energy. And we learn how to do that in masterful ways and bring it in so it becomes not only who we are, but a toolkit that we can utilize to empower and enlighten, to bring light to any focus we choose, because we're queens. We can do that. You know, to move the energy of your body and heart that is seen as light, but it is felt as love, which is your truth. That's what you're here to do. You know, that is queen embodiment. That's what we're doing. So what I want to leave you with here is that you are responsible for the flow of energy and light through your own body, and it is felt as love. It is not dependent on him doing or not doing something that perfectly fluffs your pillow on the external world so that then you'll choose to be a queen. We don't only do yoga when the circumstances are exactly perfect. The real yoga is when they're not. And how masterfully you take the challenges and see them as polishing your mirror. You know? You don't wait for permission or the right circumstances or the right man or him to touch you or respond in this way in order for you to feel X. You learn how to feel, how to amplify, how to move it beyond just yourself and influence another. That is what we are learning here. The art that you were born with as a feminine being to channel, move, expand, manipulate light and energy so it is felt as love. It's the secret to your glow, to your happiness, to your fulfillment, to the relationship and the man that you crave. He chose you for light and energy. If he did not want to be in the yoga with light and energy, he would not be. He'd be on a mountain or in a monastery, completely on his own, surrounded by men and wilderness. Probably just large expanses. He chose you to be the incarnation of the goddess, to have him remember, to have him feel. You are not ignited by a man or for a man / masculine core being. This does not just turn on or off based on what someone externally or an environment externally does. You are the master of this. You were born to move this. You are not ignited. You are not turned on or off by someone outside of you. You have the capacity to initiate desire and rapture, to have someone feel what you want them to feel, and in doing so be inspired and magnetized towards you. There's nothing that would feel more delightful than receiving that energy as a blessing and giving you what you want. It feels good when it comes from that place. It's not demanding. It's not castrating. It just feels like a beautiful exchange. Your sexuality, your zing, is not dependent on a man. It is yours. And you get to claim that, but I don't think we're taught that. So that's what we're doing. here. It's funny actually, because I've just left my playlist running, and right now I have Frozen going on, you know, stepping into the unknown. What is that? Into the unknown? I can't even think what it is. That's kind of what I think about this. We are stepping into the unknown, and there's something just like Elsa in that moment, right, that's intoxicating and exciting and thrilling, and we just know there's purpose and path and fulfillment greater than where we are right now there, but you have to be willing to step into the unknown, you know, to play with all the elements, to tussle. So I'm just looking at you, at your comments. Jenny, oh yes, and love listening to you. Thanks. Thanks. So that's what I want to leave you with today, is we are learning the yoga of moving our hearts and our energy. It is seen as light and felt as love, and it is not dependent or initiated on anyone or any circumstances outside of you. It's just you. It's just you learning your feminine body that you never had access to before, that no one ever taught you, that there is no culture or school that shows us the way towards. And we fumble and bumble through in such a ridiculous format, and then we wonder why we have relationships that are hurting more than they're giving. We have all these bullshit narratives that say, when I'm a mother, I'm less. When there's more kids, there's less time. There's less energy between us. There's less for you and there's less for me. I have 4 kids. They range in ages from 2 to 14. 4 kids. In a tiny, tiny 3-bedroom house. And it's ecstatic. It's not dependent on the big white house and the huge holiday and the car and when I look like or when I lose X. When the kids are older, don't wait to be initiated and ignited by circumstances outside of you. It's all you. And that's like, I feel like the beat of the drum. If I could beat my drum right now, that's the tone it would beat to. It's to have you remember and to know so deeply in your bones you pulse with it. It's my greatest desire. That would be my greatest light that is felt as love in this world. So you can be happy and spiritual, or you can be deeply skilled and in yoga with life and relationship. And I choose that because it's delicious. So I hope that you'll come and join with me. I really do, because it is extraordinary. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it really is. So I'll see you every day this week. I hope you buzz with that energy today, whatever it is you've got from here. And that you notice when you hand away your power and when you claim it. Notice how that flows and how that feels. And how would it feel to, one, first move through perhaps the pain or rejection of taking that self-responsibility, and then 2, taking and claiming back that power where you have capacity to feel and have and be loved in every way that you crave. But if you're not getting that now, it's because you haven't learned that art. We always evoke the matching partner in front of us. So, big love to you. I'll see you tomorrow.